The Land Use Board of the Borough of River Edge is officially called to order on March 24th, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. Can we have, we'll skip the salute to the flag and any statements from the chair. Can we have a roll call, please?
We just have to make a brief notice or announcement about the virtual meeting.
Yeah, I was going to do that after roll call, but I
Okay.
can do it now.
Whatever you'd like.
Do the roll call because I have to see an alternate.
Okay. Mr. Mayor.
It's probably
Sorry,
muted.
present.
Okay. Mr. Caslin is absent tonight. Ms. Boland.
Here.
Mr. Merman.
Here.
Mr. Grasso. Looks like he's absent tonight. Mr. Cray.
Here.
Mr. Arkelian. I know I saw him. Maybe
Yeah,
he's
he was here
having
before.
some technical difficulties. I'll come back to him. Councilman Kinigo.
Here.
Mr. Gibbons.
Here.
Mr. Pfeffer.
Here.
Mr. Esposito.
Here.
Okay. And
Okay.
We'll
So
see
it
if-
appears we have two regular members that are absent.
Yes.
So I'll seat the two alternates, Bruce Pfeffer and Gary Esposito. Okay, now, moving to our statement. And meetings are held electronically via Zoom. To join the hearing via smartphone, computer, or tablet, use the following link, and I'm not going to repeat that. And the webinar number 822-5993-0467. To join the meeting via telephone, dial in using one of the numbers below. If you receive a busy signal, you may number on the list 129-436-2866 or 1-301-715-8592 or 1-312-626-6799 or 1-669-900-6833 or 1-253-258-782 or 1-346-248-7799. This log is information, and the link to the meeting will also be posted via the borough website. Members of the public.
Mr. Merman.
Yes.
You don't have to read the next part on the agenda. We just have to state that this meeting was properly noticed under the Open Public Meetings Act and all relevant statutes related to the COVID-19 pandemic. It was also posted on the Borough Hall and in the Ridgewood News and the Bergen Record. And this meeting will be recorded electronically.
Okay, so said.
Very good.
Thank you. We have no correspondence. We do have minutes to be approved. The February 19th, 2021 minutes. Does anybody have any comments or corrections or anything on the minutes as submitted?
I actually had one comment that in the memorialization from last meeting, Ms. Boland abstained from that vote because she wasn't present at the prior meeting.
Correct.
So we'll need to make that change.
Okay. Hearing none, can we have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved. Gibbons.
Is there a second?
Second.
Great. All in favor, say aye.
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 I'm assuming you don't need a roll call, do you?
No.
Okay. All in
only-
fa-
Okay. The only other note is that Mr. Cray was not present at the last meeting, so he's ineligible to vote.
Okay, we can take a voice vote, right? We don't need,
Yes.
okay. So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed? Any opposed? Not hearing any. Any abstentions? Not hearing any, so the minutes are approved.
One person.
Okay, moving right along, to the applicants, we have a two-step process. The first step is, we're going to, yeah, well, okay, the minutes, I gotta hold it, I skipped too far ahead. We have to vote on the memorialization of the 2020 Land Use Board Annual Report. Are there any comments, or additions or deletions? Okay, not hearing any. Can we have a motion to accept that memorialization, that resolution?
So moved.
I'm sorry, Jim. I'm second.
Okay, now, I think we need a roll call on this, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
And just for the record, Mr. Callahan and Mr. Grasso are present at the meeting now.
I apologize, I had my typical technical difficulties. And I had to reboot the computer.
All right, so I'll take a roll call vote. Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Castellan is absent tonight. Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
yes,
Mr. Grasso,
Yes.
Mr. Cray is ineligible to vote on this memorialization. Mr. Callahan,
Yes.
Councilman Kiniga,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes.
okay, so we'll move on to the applications. To the applicants, we have a two-step process. The first step is we'll review the completeness of your application, and then we will go on to reviewing each application merits individually. So for the memorialization, the first application is the David Potter, 203 Berkeley Road, block 906, lot 14.
Okay, so prior to the meeting, I reviewed the proofs submitted by the applicant and were sufficient to permit the board to have jurisdiction tonight. And I don't know if Tom,
I also reviewed the application materials, and from my standpoint, the application is complete and can be heard by the board.
Tom, do you want any comment from the applicant at this point?
It might be a good idea just to have them introduce themselves and, a little bit about their project. And again, this is the Porter application for
Correct.
203 Berkeley.
Hi there. Yeah. So, David Porter. I'm looking for variance relief for the improvements on our current house. We're looking to put an addition on the side and on the back, along with the front porch. Amy Hummerstone, my architect, she's on the call also. So, when we get into it, we can you can ask her more the technical details, I suppose, for more technical aspect. Before that, I'd like to state for the record that my wife and I, along with our 3 children, have lived in town for the last 13
I'm sorry,
years.
Mr. Porter. Just before you give any testimony, I have to swear you in.
Okay.
So if you could please just raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to state that my wife and I, along with our 3 kids, we've lived in our current house for 13 years. We love this town. We enjoyed living here. Active part of the community. All our kids go to school in town. We play town, all in sports and everything. as our family has grown, we've become more aware of our need for a larger house, basically. We love our block, we love our neighbors. The best option for us is to improve the home that we love. When we were designing our home improvement, we've taken into consideration the original character of the home as it is now and the neighborhood. And it was really important for us to make sure that we, make sure it fits in and it's not something that's completely different. Keep within the look of the house and ensure that the new addition fits well within the whole neighborhood. There are a few similar looking houses and additions and stuff that's been done nearby. When it's appropriate, I do have some slides of that example.
Right.
But you can let me know when you want to see that, if you want to see that.
Correct. We will in the second step.
Okay.
We'll move on to the next applicant for completeness.
We just need to do a vote on this completeness.
Oh, okay, correct. Can we have a motion for completeness on this application?
So moved. Gibbons?
Second, Craig.
Okay, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
Yes.
Mr. Grasso,
Yes.
Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Mr. Arkelian,
Yes.
Councilman Kenigo,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes and we'll bring you back, Mr. Porter, in a few minutes.
Okay, the next applicant for completeness is Mark Dolligan, 608 Fifth Avenue, block 508, lot 28. Anybody representing Mr. Dolligan?
Hi, I'm here representing myself. My architect was unable to make the meeting tonight.
That's okay.
Okay, prior to the meeting, I reviewed the applicant's proof submitted in support of the application, and they were sufficient to permit the board to have jurisdiction to proceed tonight.
And I also reviewed the application materials and they're sufficient to be determined to be complete.
Okay. Mr. Dolligan, can you give us a very brief synopsis of your application, what you're proposing to accomplish?
And I'll just swear
yeah.
you in before you get started. If you
Yeah,
just
sure.
raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you.
Very briefly, we are also adding a porch, and we're looking for variance relief in terms of the setback. I live on a corner, the corner of Fifth Ave and Madison. So our property essentially is two front yards, both on the front of the house on Fifth and the side on Madison. So the setback is 30 feet, and the porch would come to, I believe, 24.5 and 24.3 respectively, in both the front on Fifth and what they call the front on the side of Madison. So we're just looking for variance relief in terms of being able to bring that porch out.
Great. Okay. Can we have a motion to accept the completeness of this application?
So moved. Gibbons?
Second.
Okay,
All right.
Mr. Gray. And Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
Yes.
Mr. Grasso. I think he's muted.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Mr. Arkelian,
Yes.
Councilman Kenigo,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The motion passes.
We'll move on to the next application, then we'll consider it for completeness. And if I mispronounce your name, I apologize ahead of time, okay? Mr. and Mrs. Karamika, 120 Davis Drive, block 1202, lot 21. Anybody representing them?
We have our contractor, Magic, on the call as well.
Oh, great, okay. Can you briefly tell us what you want to accomplish with this application?
And just before you get started, I'll swear you in, both of you, if you're both going to testify. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Okay, and could you state both of your names for the record, please?
It's Irfan Karimka and Burja Karimka.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Can we, Mr. Behrens, do you want to say anything regarding this application?
We're on mute.
Not yet. All right.
Yeah. Sorry, I was muted, Mr. Merman. I reviewed the application materials and from my standpoint, they're complete.
Okay. Very good.
And
And I
and prior
assume we,
prior
I
to
assume-
that, prior to the meeting, I'm sorry, Mr. Merman, I reviewed the proofs submitted by the applicant and they're acceptable for the board to have jurisdiction tonight.
okay, very good. Can we have a motion regarding the completeness of this application?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right. Can we
Mr.
ha-
Mayor,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
Yes,
Mr. Grasso,
Mr. Grasso.
I think he's muted.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Mr. Arkelian,
Yes.
Councilman Kinigo,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes.
Okay, so Mr. and Mrs. Kiramiko, why don't you stay right there? I'll take your application first. And we'll go from there. So for a board review of the application submitted by Mr. and Mrs. Kiramika, 120 Davis Drive, River Edge, and that's block 12021, 1202 rather, and lot 21. Would you like, I guess you're already sworn in, right? So you don't have to be sworn in again?
Yes.
Okay, so would you explain to the board what you want to do with this application, what you're proposing to do?
Sure. Well, thank you very much for inviting us here tonight. Just as a background, my wife and I have lived in town for exactly 20 years and 1 week. We moved here on St. Patrick's Day of 2001, and we've raised our family here. Our older daughter goes to Riverdale. Our younger daughter's in the middle school, and we've enjoyed our time here very greatly. We would like to extend the size of the deck in our backyard. And the new proposed size would encompass 37.9% of the lot coverage. So we're looking for a variance to increase the size of the deck.
Okay. Mr. Behrens?
All right, good evening, Tom Barron's board planner. So as stated by the applicant, there's an existing deck that will be potentially be replaced. The existing deck, as I measure from the survey, is about 17 feet by 10 feet or 170 square feet. The applicant's requesting two variances to expand the deck to about 23 feet by 14 feet, which translates to 322 square feet. The first variance is for the maximum lot coverage, or effectively the building coverage. The proposed is 26.8%, where 25% is permitted. And the second variance is for the improved lot coverage, where the proposed is 37.9%, and the maximum permitted is 35%. I'll note that the lot itself is a 50 by 100 lot, which is undersized relative to the borough's R1 zone standards, which require a minimum lot size of 7,500 square feet. So that there seems to be some element of potentially a hardship in meeting, compliance and, developing a deck on the property at the same time. And so a question I guess I would ask the applicant is whether or not the proposed development would be consistent with the development that surrounds your home. So in terms of your neighbors' properties.
That is correct. Actually, our neighbors' homes extend out further towards the property line than our home does. And like the property extends further out and one neighbor has a deck and the other neighbor has a patio. And they're further set back than where we would like to go with the replacement deck, potential replacement deck.
Right, thank you. So if I heard correctly, the surrounding properties also have outdoor spaces, whether it's a deck or a patio, that yours is within a similar size or even smaller in some respect, and also your lot is smaller than required on the property. So
Correct, that is correct, sir.
with that, we could turn it over to the board for any questions.
Okay, Mr. Arakalian, you have any comments or questions?
I do have a question. What is the deck being made of? Is it wood? Is it plastic? Is it
Trex.
Trex? Okay, that's what I have. You'll love it.
Thank you.
All right,
That's it, Mr. Marvin. Thank you.
all right. Ms. Boland, you have any comments?
I do. I don't have an issue with the application, but I question the proposed lot coverage. The survey that you provided appears to give all of the existing coverage, and it comes to 37.28.
Right.
So I do believe you're requesting a higher variance than the 37.9.
Ms. Ball, maybe I can explain that. So I think my initial letter of denial was based on my measurements, and apparently the recent survey submitted with the application may be a more accurate depiction of what's going on, and that's dated 3/2/21. My letter was prepared in February, so I suspect that's what the difference is. So as you note, the actual coverage is slightly less than I mentioned. Do I have that correct?
Now, well, just based on the survey,
Right.
the existing coverage is 37.28. If you add the difference in the deck, you're adding another 2, I did it fast,
300.
something, 2%, so it's at least 39 something, just so that we quantify it correctly, so we know what the variance actually is. But if we're going, the survey, I'm assuming, is accurate.
Like I said, I measured based on the plan I had at the time, and that's the
Right.
calculation I
And
came up
that's,
with.
yeah, I understand, but
Yeah,
based
I
on
hear-
the information we have now, we just need to have the right
I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
variance that's being requested.
Okay, I could try to figure that out real quick.
Yeah, it's an extra 322 feet.
Well, it's 322 minus
The 187.
187. Yeah.
Gentlemen,
135. That's 2.7% that translates to.
In addition to the 37.28.
Well, is that an addition? Because
Did you take out the deck?
Yes, we
I
are.
think
We're
so.
gonna remove.
No, but
Yeah, well, the difference in the two deck, the difference is 322, isn't it?
no, the
no,
difference,
that's the new.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Can we agree upon a correct number for the resolution?
Well, I think the key factor, and that was part of the letter, was that the proposed deck was 322 square feet. I understand that the discrepancy, if the figure may then be 39.48, if I'm doing my math correctly, based on this information.
Did you say it was 2.7?
That is the increase, I believe.
So from the survey that we have in hand from our
Right.
Andrew Schmidt, it is 37.28 plus 2.7 is 39.98.
that is what I came up with.
All right, so again, can we agree upon a number?
I think it was just what Ms. Boland just said.
39.8,
right?
39.98.
39.98.
Yeah.
98. Okay, very good. Mr. Barron's, is that acceptable to you?
It is to me, yeah.
We went
Okay,
37,
all right.
37, 39.98.
Can, okay, so we're going down the board members. Mr. Grasso,
I
do you
have,
have any?
I have no comment on this.
Okay. Mr. Gibbons,
Just one point of clarification. So the improved lot coverage is going up to the 39.8, but the lot coverage is going up 3%. Where is that 3% proposed coming from? We're not doing any addition to the home, correct?
No,
No, it's all done.
just old deck.
So I don't, Mr. Barron's, do we know why? Then why would their lot coverage be going up, the improved lot coverage, if they're not improving the home? Am I missing something or?
Well, so to go to the terminology, the lot coverage represents the structures on the site, so the dwelling and the deck essentially. So they're increasing the size of the deck, so that factor would go up by that amount. And the improved lot coverage captures the built elements plus all the paved surfaces.
Okay,
in-
so it's
in
the,
theory,
so
they would
it's
both
more
go
the
up by.
driveway that's into the 30s, that makes the difference between 26 and 37.
Right, right, right.
Okay. That was my only question.
okay. Mr. Cray,
No questions. The only one I had was the one Ms. Bowen asked.
okay. Mr. Mayor,
I'm good, Mr. Barron, thank you.
okay. Councilman Shenango,
I'm good, thank you, sir.
great. Okay, Bruce Pfeffer,
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Esposito,
Good, thank you.
okay, very good. And I have no questions. I did note the deck to the neighbor to the left was considerably bigger, and it looks like it might be larger than what you're proposing. So you're basically being very consistent with your neighbor there.
Yeah.
Other than that, I have no other comments, and
Do
do
we
we have
have, I had a question. Do you have anyone else on the call that is meant to testify for your application?
We have our contractor Magic on the call if you had any questions about the build out.
Okay. I'll just note that.
okay. Okay,
And we
there-
just have to open to the public.
to the public, correct. Can we have a motion to open to the public, please?
So moved. Gibbons.
Second,
Great. Ms. Calvin, do we have anybody from the public present?
We do not.
Okay, so assuming we hear nothing from the public, we can have a motion to close the public portion.
Mr. Merman, if I could just chime in, I just recognizing that increase we just discussed, I just wanted the record to also reflect that is to be accounted for in the lot coverage. So when the board votes, that it is captured in both places, so the applicant can get the relief they need.
Okay.
I'll work out the
what-
details with Marina.
Well, great. Well, I still have you on, the number that's being requested is 39.98. Is that the correct number?
That's what I understand. That's for improved lot coverage.
Okay,
And what I'm suggesting is that the lot coverage figure may also need to be increased by a similar amount, by approximately 2%.
all right. Can we run that quickly? So whoever makes the motion can use those numbers? Or do we just want to say, as discussed?
You could, if you'd like, you could round it up to a slightly higher number. So it would be, so the applicants could be within a range.
Good,
Just to, if you would like to do that.
okay. So whoever makes the motion could probably say as amended? Would it, can we do that?
I'm thinking we should just let Tom give us a number. Tom, just give it
Right,
to-
right.
round it
Bear
up,
with me real quick. I'll tell you in a sec.
because this is going to be included into the resolution.
Right.
3%. Just bear with me.
And I just want to confirm with the applicants, the size of the proposed deck is 23 feet by 14 feet.
That's correct.
Okay, and
So-
the old deck will be completely removed and this will be in its place. Okay,
That's correct.
So the revised lot coverage calculation that I have is approximately 29.8%.
29.8, okay. All right, we closed it to the public and I guess we're ready for a motion. Does somebody like to make a motion and then we just have the two numbers that have been revised as discussed?
Mr. Merman, I'm going to do a complete role reversal tonight.
Good.
And I will give the motion this time. You can listen to it.
Wow.
So,
Historic.
the application for Mr. and Mrs. Kamara of 120 Davis Drive, block 1202, lot 21. I would like to make a motion with the, that this application be approved and the variance of lot coverage 29.8%. Maybe we'll just round that up to 30% and even 30%. This way they have that extra little bit of the 0.2%. Tom, you agree with that?
I mean, it would certainly provide a little more wiggle room.
So let's give them the 30% there. And then on the improved, that they're at 39.98, why don't we just make it an even 40? We'll give them that 2% there, or actually, not even 2%.
200.
Yeah, 200%.
0.02.
And I would move that we approve this application.
Is there a second?
Second.
Well, does anybody want to amend the motion? Oh, no? Okay, let's have a second.
Second.
Okay, I guess we need a roll call.
all right, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
Yes.
Mr. Grasso,
Yes.
Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Mr. Arkelian,
Yes.
Councilman Kenigo,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The motion passes.
Great. Enjoy your deck, folks.
Thank you very much for your
All right.
time.
Good luck.
Stay safe, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Chairman, before we move to the next application, I just have a quick question. Typically on these applications, we don't require the engineer to be on board. Is there a reason why Mr. Costa is with us tonight?
Is he with us? It wasn't noted in the roll call.
Yeah, he's on. I see him.
I don't see him. Is he on?
No, I'm here.
Yes.
Hi,
You
Chairman.
are
How are
there.
you? Good evening.
Hello, Mr. Costa.
How are you?
So
Holy-
I'm just wondering
What?
if we need him on for this meeting tonight?
Well, he's on the screen now. Let's keep him for the rest of the meeting, okay?
Okay.
Mr. Costa, I assume that since you didn't chime in, you had no comments on the previous application.
None whatsoever.
Okay, very good. Okay, I'm gonna let you, I'll call on you in the next two. Okay, I'm ready to move to the next application. I think that, and I thought I took the deck first because I thought that was real quick. But you surprised me. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the Fifth Avenue one, Mark Dolligan, 608 Fifth Avenue, block 508, lot 28. Mr. Dolligan, are you here?
I'm here.
Okay. Marina, you want to swear him first?
We already took care of that.
All right, still good. Okay,
Thank you.
great. All right, so Mr. Dolligan, explain to the board what you're proposing to do and why.
We're proposing to, well, we're renovating our entire home. We currently have a cape and we're going up. And within that renovation, we had decided that we'd like to put a wraparound porch. So to come out I believe 6 feet from the existing structure, which brings the setback from, I believe it's currently 30, so it brings it to like 24.5 on Fifth and 24.3 on Madison. And we're doing this for several reasons. One, it without the porch, the integrity and the character of the new house is completely compromised in the way that we had drawn it. We like to spend as much time outside as possible. So we figured what better way to do that than to add a porch where we can have company over, and in light of the recent situation with, the pandemic and all that, we have grandparents and whatnot that we weren't really able to see too often, and just would have been nice to be able to hang outside, being that indoors was a little bit more risky. So things like that. The reason that we've chosen to wrap it around to the side street was the side street is far more quiet than Fifth Ave. So if we wanted a little bit more peace and quiet and didn't feel like being neighborly, we can recluse to that area.
Okay. Mr. Behrens?
All right, so as the applicant presented, there are additions proposed, but the real issue has to do with the porch. The only variance that's required are the front yard setbacks. On the one hand, the distance is 24.3 feet to the porch on Madison Avenue, where a minimum of 30 feet is required. And on Fifth Avenue, the distance to the porch is 24.5 feet, where a minimum of 30 feet is required. So that the porch itself, as measured on the plans, has a depth of about 6 feet, which is pretty much the minimum depth you would want for a deck. It's my understanding that it will be an open porch. It will not be enclosed. And the application otherwise complies in all respects in terms of setbacks and coverages. I guess I'll ask the applicant a few questions. Is it your opinion that the porch is generally consistent with the neighborhood, or would add an aesthetic improvement to the neighborhood?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it would add to the value, number one. Number two, I also included a couple of pictures in the packet that I handed out of houses in the area with similar porches, wraparound porches, and some of them even on corner lots.
Right. And so, as you mentioned, obviously it's on a corner lot, so hence the 2 side yard setbacks. So, I'm not sure there are any noteworthy detriments here, and it sounds like there might be some public benefits in terms of the aesthetic enhancement, and that the house is located where it is, and there's you could not otherwise build a conforming porch. So I'll leave it to the board if they have any questions.
Thank you.
Mr. Behrens, you want to address the closing in of the breezeway in squaring that off?
Yeah, let me look at the plan. So as Mr. Merman noted, one of the additions seeks to square off the breezeway, essentially the space between the dwelling
Yes.
and the garage. And I think that in part is to create sort of a new mudroom in that vicinity of the home. That first floor addition is compliant in terms of setbacks. And again, there are no coverage issues here. So really it aims to square off that front portion of the house.
Okay.
I'll add, Mr. Merman, that the garage will be maintained as a garage also.
Okay, very good. Mr. Duggan, do you have any, what do you want to bring forward, an architect, engineer, planner, or whatever?
No, my architect was unable to make it tonight.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I guess we're ready for board questions. Mr. Arakalian.
No, I have nothing. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Boland,
No questions.
Mr. Grasso,
No questions.
Mr. Gibbons,
I'm good.
great. Mr. Craig,
No questions.
Mayor,
I'm good.
Councilman.
Just a quick comment. This is one of those cases that I hope in the future we won't have to take up. Obviously, it's going to improve the look of the house, and it's a benefit to this community. And I'm sure that we can come up with some way that we don't have to take up some of these applications and waste time and money and everybody's time, really. So, but I have no questions. It looks
Yeah,
good.
but it did bring out Mr. Costa. All right.
It did. It's always good to see him.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Pfeffer.
No questions, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Esposito.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, I guess we're ready to go out to the public. Can we have a motion to open it to the public?
So moved. Giddens.
Second, Craig.
Okay. Do we have anybody, Ms. Calvin, do we have anybody on the screen from
do
the
not.
public?
We do not.
So we can safely say there's no public? All
Yes.
right. That being the case, let's have a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All right, so I guess we're ready to vote on this.
No, Mr.
Somebody-
Merman,
Yes.
would you be interested in in entertaining a motion?
Wow, this is yes, I would, especially from you. This is an unusual night.
It's
I've
been a
got
while
both
since
you-
I've done this,
you and-
probably about 5 years.
Hold it a second. I erred. Mr. Costa, do you have any comments?
Now, as far as drainage or anything like that, because they're gonna add impervious, that'll be dealt with at the building department level.
Okay.
So we can deal with it through the soil movement, but again, if the board wants to put that in the resolution, it's up to the board, but for the most part, any of these additions, once they go to pull a building permit, then we deal with it under the soil movement. And then we have to add some drainage features, stormwater management.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay, Mr. Eric Hillian, now you can go.
Okay, so in the application for Mark Dunnigan, 608 Fifth Avenue, Block 508, Lot 28.
Well,
I
it
would like-
looked like, I'm sorry, there's someone named Debbie that looks like she's raising her hand, but she's on mute.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you,
I just have one question.
are you, I'm sorry, could you just please state
I'm
your
a
name?
resident.
Could you state your name and address
Sure,
for the
it's
record?
Debbie Daly.
Okay, and your
it's
address?
269 Madison Avenue.
Okay.
Okay, you have
Is it
any,
okay if we reopen to the public to allow Ms. Daly to comment?
do we need a motion for that?
So moved.
Just a
Second.
voice
Second.
vote.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, go
Okay,
ahead.
Ms. Daly.
Okay, I'm in favor of the porch. My only question is I want to ask about the existing trees. Are those trees being removed or are they staying on the property for the addition?
Which trees?
I think I know that there's 2 town trees that's on the sidewalk. There are 2 big trees, and then there's the one other tree that's, I believe, on your property.
So that's actually funny that you bring that up. There are several trees on both Madison and Fifth that are set to be pruned, and one of them is set to be taken down by the Shade Tree Commission.
Okay.
They just haven't gotten to that yet. The only tree on our property that's coming down is the one between myself and my neighbor on Fifth Ave, the one that's kind of sitting in the middle of our property lines, like at the end of my driveway, or
Okay.
like inwards on the property. We had not intended on taking, I believe there's 2 other trees between my house and James's house. Are those the trees you're referring to?
Right, exactly.
Did you want them down?
No, I didn't. No, I was just curious. I was just one, but the town is pruning that one big tree that the branches keep falling off of.
Yes, we're
Okay.
waiting on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're actually pruning all of the trees on both Madison and Fifth by our property, and the one on the corner on Fifth Ave is coming down. When, I don't know, but we've been waiting
Oh, okay.
about a
Oh,
year
that
for
big
that.
one. Oh, good.
Yeah, the big one, because it was hit by a tree several years ago, so,
Yes, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. No, I'm in favor of it.
Okay,
It's fine.
that's it? All right, very good. Thank you for your
Thank you.
comments. We
Thank you.
appreciate comments from the public, always. I guess,
Need a motion to close, Mr. Chairman.
we need to close the reopening to the public, correct?
So I'll make a
Do I
motion
hear-
to close.
Great, second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Fine. Okay, very good. So now, Ms. Arakalian, you can make your motion.
Okay. So in the case of Mark Donegan, 608 Fifth Avenue, Block 508, Lot 28, I would like to make a motion to approve his application with the front yard setback at 24.3 and the side yard setback for 24.5 for a new wraparound porch that's not enclosed.
Just for clarity, it'll have to be, there's a setback, a front yard setback for Madison, and there's a front yard setback for Fifth Avenue, not side yard.
Okay.
That's-
I'm just reading
All
off
right.
here. Okay.
Second.
Okay, can we have, are there any additions or deletions or comments?
The only thing you want to add, as Mr. Costa brought up, it'll be subject to review by our engineer for any stormwater management issues.
Okay, so you're amending the motion to include that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Not hearing any comments, can we have a motion to accept this application as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Mr. Esposito, I believe.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
Yes.
Mr. Grasso,
Yes.
Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Mr. Arkelian,
Yes.
Councilman Kinigo,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes.
Great. Okay, our last application of the evening. David Potter, 203.
Thanks for
Berkeley.
everybody's time. I appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good one.
I hear there's gonna be a lot of free firewood up there. Do all those-
I
Yeah.
have some left over now if anybody wants to come and grab it. Yeah, thank
Okay.
you guys. I appreciate it. We're
Thank
excited.
you.
All right.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thanks.
All right, we'll move on to the next application. David Potter, 203 Berkeley Road. Block 906, lot 14. Mr. Potter?
Hi there. So do you want me to go back over what the improvements are going
Yes,
to be?
now
or-
you can tell us
Okay.
what you intend to do and your reasons why.
Right,
and
okay.
any Impacts.
Yeah, okay. So the house is a standard River Ridge colonial. We have a garage and there is an extension at the back downstairs, which is a family room that goes behind the garage. We're looking to go over the garage and extend and put a master suite over one side. We have 3 children, so we only have 3 bedrooms. Kids are growing up, so we want more bedrooms. We only have 1 bathroom, which I'm sure you can imagine is tough with 3 kids. And yep, okay, it's fun times right now, especially with everyone at home. And we're looking to then put a 2nd bedroom over the addition at the back as well, as you can probably see in the plans. Interior to the house, the configuration downstairs is pretty much staying the same. We will be looking to add on the side a mud room and then push the kitchen and where the deck is right now to push out and actually have a dining room in there. Our kitchen right now, or like our kitchen right now is about 8 feet square. It's not very big at all. As you can imagine, it's the where the old kitchens are. So we're looking to push that back into where our kind of family room is. In addition to that, on the side, we want to put our mud room and put a powder room behind there, so you can come in the side door. All of this means that our improved lot coverage goes up, our lot coverage goes up, And then finally, our front setback will increase because we're looking to put a porch on as well. We're very kind of outdoorsy people. Again, 3 kids, a lot of stuff going on all the time. A lot of, hopefully next year or this year, a lot of people coming and going. We hang outside a lot. We really love the outdoor space. So I do have something I would like to show you. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I will share just something I've got. So
And was this submitted in with the application materials?
it was not. I spoke
Okay.
to Ed and he said I could do it. And I think, can I then submit it to you afterwards as a post submission? Okay, I will.
Yes,
I
yeah.
will do that.
And
Okay.
we'll just mark this as Exhibit A for this meeting.
Okay, great. So just to give you guys an idea of what the type of porch that we're looking to put in, totally open porch, very similar to this one, which is just around the corner on Wayne. There's another one which is at the end of our block. Obviously, it's hidden a bit by trees here. This is at the end of Berkeley. There's another one which is much smaller, but it's kind of the same sort of style. I've had some renderings done of the house, so you guys can actually see what it's going to look like finished. So that kind of give you a better idea. So this is the rendering of the house. So as you can see here on the right hand side, this is the master bedroom above the garage, which would then be it's set back by about 2 feet, so it gives it some sort of style, not just a straight flat front. And as you can see, the bedroom going over towards the back as well, going over the existing. This would be the side mudroom and side entrance, which already exists as a side entrance there. And then this is obviously the porch. To give it at the other angle, I have another rendering that I can show you there that kind of, so you can see it a little better from that side as well. As you can see at the back here, I'm not going all the way back. I'm not making a big box. Amy, my architect, who's on the call as well, has helped us design this in a manner that means that we're not really changing the style of the house that much. We're just, we're staying within it, but obviously trying to keep as many like architectural styles as we can within the place. This all means that we do have those 3 variances that we need. The main one, I believe, is the offset from the street. We are currently 30 feet, but we will be going to 26.3. That means it's an 8-foot deck from the wall here to the front. The main reason that it's 8, as Mr. Behrens said earlier, the minimum you can do is 6 is obviously we want to put some chairs on here so that we can set out, a chair and a table and, sit out there, and the kids can hang out there as well. Our vestibule at the front is where we come out here. That comes out, I believe, 3 feet. So the distance between the side of the vestibule and the front of the porch here is 3. Amy would be able to tell you exactly what the entranceway is there, but that's why we need to come out that distance. This step we have at the front, the top step here is actually where our top step is right now. So we're not essentially going any further forward than our current top step is anyway. And it would be framed against, if you like, the front of that step and then back towards the house, if that makes sense.
Okay. Mr. Behrens.
Thank you. I guess I'll just add a few thoughts. I think he gave a pretty good overview of what the project entails. In terms of expanding the footprint, so I'll just reiterate that the 3 variances being sought. One is for the front yard setback, where the porch will have a non-conforming setback of 26.3 feet, where a minimum of 30 feet is required. The proposed lot coverage, which again includes the dwelling, and from my calculation also includes the deck, I have at 27.6%. I'm not sure the architecture or the architect plan includes the deck. And then we have the improved lot coverage, which the proposed is 39.5%, where a maximum of 35% is permitted. And just to give some perspective, the rear addition that is effectively replacing the deck, the existing deck, is about 13.5 by 8.5 feet. That translates to 115 square feet. There is then a new deck that will replace the existing patio approximately. That's about the same dimensions, 13.5 by 8.5. So that's again 115 square feet. And the new porch is about 370 square feet based on my calculations. So the total proposed coverage factor, let's say, is 600 square feet. Going back to the variances being required, the 27.6% lot coverage translates to 209 square feet approximately. And the improved lot coverage of 39.5% translates to 36.3%. And so those overages are both less than the porch itself. I think we heard some testimony by the applicant, that we certainly saw the renderings in terms of what it'll look like. I guess I'll ask the applicant, do you feel like this, the improvements to the home will be in keeping with the surrounding neighborhood in terms of the size and character?
Yeah, I mean, the house, we're not making our house, a huge, a lot bigger. If you know Berkeley Road, it's essentially every house around us has been improved. We're kind of like last people on the block. But there is, the house is, it's not going to look huge. It's going to have, most of the houses have gone over the garage and have expanded out, wider. So they've got that. There are, there are, like, as you can see, in the immediate vicinity, quite a few porches. We love, I've always admired the house around the corner. There's another one on Greenway that I absolutely love, like the porch, and I think another one on Fifth Avenue. And that's really the kind of living that we want. So that's the main reason, obviously, that's pushing us to the variance anyway,
Right. Thank you. So
Yep.
there are two ways that a board can approve, the variance relief being sought. They're referred to as C variances. One is the C1 physical features test, whether or not there's any hardship impacting the property. I don't think that's really the case here. So the other alternative is what's called the C2 public benefits test. And there has to be a demonstration that the proposed development generates some level of public benefits that outweigh any detriments. And so you provided some testimony to that end. Does I'm wondering if your professional that you have with you, might have anything to add to that? Not that you did a bad job, just to see if there's any further testimony that you wanted to offer.
Absolutely.
In that regard.
And I'll
Yes,
swear you in, Ms. Hummerstone.
Yes,
If you
thank
could
you.
just raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And could you please state your name for the record and provide the board with some background on your experience and if you've ever appeared before the board before?
Okay, it's Amy Hummerstone. Did you want my address? Or no?
Sure, that's fine.
14 Brearley Crescent, Fair Lawn, New Jersey, 07410. I've been licensed in the state of New Jersey as an architect since 1994. I've appeared before numerous boards in Bergen County, although I don't think River Edge before. Can't quite remember. I also have a license in New York and Rhode Island. Been practicing for 30 years. So going on.
Okay, and does the board accept those qualifications?
Do we have a voice?
Yep, that's
All in
fine.
favor accepting this, the credentials of the architect?
Yes.
Aye.
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 Great.
Okay.
Thank you. I think the homeowner really covered, I have 2 pages of notes, but he really covered almost everything. I did want to point out that Mr. Barron said that the deck was not included. That's correct. I wanted to bring that up as I caught from the other applications. It was included in the impervious coverage, but not the improved lot coverage. So I have, that's 132 square feet to be added to the building coverage proposed, and the existing deck I also did not include. So I have that going up to 20.0% from 18.5 as a result of that.
All right,
So,
Mr.
I'm sorry, can I just add that I do think this design has the project will have a benefit for the neighborhood. Well, we worked hard to keep the character and the charm of this house to fit in with the neighborhood and not overwhelm. And as far as the front yard setback, the porch steps out, as Mr. Porter said, because the existing vestibule steps out. So we went out the minimum over that setback line just to accommodate having a covered entry and a continuous wraparound porch. So that was the reason for that. Thank you.
Okay, quick question, Mr. Barron's, apparently there's a change in the percentages as the architect stated. In the meantime, can you recalculate the percentages?
Right, well, I think this time my letter dated February 11th, 2021 accurately captures those coverages. And again, we're just talking about the maximum lot coverage. The
Right.
distinction was whether or not the deck was included on the architectural plans. The deck was not included. In my calculations, the deck was included based on the borough's standards.
What are the numbers?
Okay, so there's no change in percentages for the motion.
Right, just for
Okay.
clarification. Right.
Let's have some comments from the board. Mr. Eric Halian, you can lead us off.
Yep. It looks like a beautiful project. I don't see any issues with it as far as I'm concerned. Thanks you.
Okay, Ms. Boland?
No comments. The only addition would be, as our engineer mentioned, any seepage pits that that they would require as part of the building permit. That's it.
Okay, Mr. Grasso?
No comments.
Mr. Gibbons?
No comments, just to say, it looks like it's gonna fit very well in the neighborhood. So nice job on the design.
Great. Mr. Craig?
Yeah, just to make sure I understand, the rear, the breakfast room and then the new deck, I mean, that's effectively staying within the footprint of the existing deck and block patio. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think give or take an inch, right? That's what we tried to keep that coverage there by getting rid of the patio and moving the deck down and then using that area to do the breakfast room. So we got more space to not
Right.
just move the kitchen into the same size space, but have a kitchen with some space to actually have.
Right. So basically the additional coverage really is the porch.
Yeah, and a bit on the mudroom on the side. Yes, yeah, but that it's minimum. The most of the coverage is the porch, correct, Amy?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Mayor?
I'm good, thank you.
Great. Mr. Councilman?
All good. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Costa?
Chairman, I think Eileen said it, we can handle the drainage, basically the drainage, just for the board's edification. For every square foot of new impervious, it's roughly 1.85 gallons of storage. So in this case, take that number times the amount of square footage that you're doing, and that's the amount of seepage pits you're gonna put in stone.
All right, and you'll review
Again, we
that?
deal with that. Yeah, normally we deal with it through the building department, through the soil moving application.
Okay,
All right,
very good.
thank you, everybody.
Now, are we ready to go out to the public?
I just think that we skipped over Mr. Pfeffer and Mr.
Oh,
Esposito.
my gosh, how could I shame on Mr. Casa? You stole the show there. Mr. Pfeffer?
No comments. Thank you, though.
Okay, sorry about that.
No
Mr.
problem.
Esposito?
No comments.
Okay, now we can go to the public. Can we have a motion to go to the public, please? I need a, okay,
I'll second.
great, okay. Ms. Kaufman, do we have anybody online or raised hand or what
We-
have you?
We do. So if you have a question, raise your hand and I will allow you to speak.
I think that was the member from the last
The
application.
last house. Right, yeah. So I think
So-
we're okay.
We're okay. So not having any public comments, can we have a motion to close it to the public?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay. Mr. Potter, you have anything last to say before we make a motion?
Nothing. I
Okay.
understand the seepage thing. Actually, Amy, we were talking about that before, and
Okay.
she'd already made some calculations. I think if you needed to do it, she already warned us that we're going to have a pit dug with the coverage and stuff. So all she's I think she's got Mr. Costa. So I think she's prepared to put them into the plans already. So that's great.
Okay, very good. I guess we're ready for a motion on this application. Do I have a volunteer?
Mind, I'll make a motion
I'll second.
I need the
So-
motion.
I have a motion to grant variance relief for front porch setback to 26.3 feet and lot coverage of 27.6. Is that correct? Is that the accurate number?
27.6 for lot coverage,
And then
26.3 for the setback, and 39.5 for the improved lot coverage.
Okay, so the improved lot coverage of 39.5, lot coverage of 27.6, and the front setback of 26.3 for 203 Berkeley Road, block 906, lot 14, pending anything necessary with water maintenance from the building department and Mr. Costa.
Okay, very good. And I believe we had a second.
I'll second Mr. Mr. Gibbons' motion.
Excuse me?
I'll second Mr.
You're
Gibbons' motion.
second there. Okay, very good. All right.
Eloquently done, Ryan.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So are there any additions, deletions, corrections, or what have you to the motion? Not hearing any. We guess we can have a roll call vote, please.
Okay, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
Yes.
Mr. Grasso,
Yes.
Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Mr. Arkelian,
Yes.
Councilman Kinigo,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
great, the motion passes.
very good. So the
Thank you very
motion,
much.
the motion is passed. Mr. Potter, enjoy your porch, and you'll finally get a couple of more bathrooms, it looks like. That's always great.
That's my dream. So thank you very much, guys.
Okay.
Thanks very
Thank
much.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you
all.
very much.
Yeah. All right. We got one little order of business to kind of touch upon. Mr. Mayor appointed a committee the last time to look into several items regarding lot coverage and so forth. Eileen, you were appointed to chairman. Can you give a very brief status to the board of where we stand?
Yes. We're talking about just one summary of a comparison to surrounding towns, a breakdown of different square footages based on a driveway, a reasonable back porch, a reasonable walkway. And we're working with that to see how we might want to try to make a recommendation for discussion with the board. And then also we did talk about the front porch as well, as Councilman mentioned, about trying to maybe make an exception to the front yard setback, allowing an encroachment of our front porch into the required setback. That's one of the options. We're pretty consistent with the surrounding towns for lot coverage. We are lower than the other towns as far as improvement coverage. If that helps us feel better about any kind of leeway we might be giving. It seems like 40% is more consistent for the improved improved coverage. But we're still throwing around different ideas, and we'll get a more inclusive report to you at another meeting. We'll have to talk a little bit more.
Great, thank you. So,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, we've got some forward progress.
Thank you
Go
so
on.
very much. I mean, this is important work we're trying to do.
Right.
And I appreciate Eileen and Dick, and I think there's one or two other members
Yeah.
of the committee.
Ryan Gibbons as well.
Ryan, thank you very, very much.
Okay, very good. Is there any further business to come before the board
And
tonight?
Mr. Merman, if I can, this is Tom Behrens. There are a few community issues that I just wanted the board to be aware of. They may have heard about some of these already. The first one has to do with there's a new billboard on Route 4 East in Paramus, on the Futon World site, excuse me. The billboard can be seen at night from some homes essentially south of Howland Avenue. The borough is investigating, what can be done at this point to somehow potentially mute the billboard from visibility from the borough. So we're exploring this on all fronts. We suspect with the spring and summer coming that the foliage should help to minimize it. But if there's anything we can do to either tone down the screen or provide some level of, louvers or something to buffer it from river edge, we're exploring all those options. The second, I don't know if anyone has any comments. I just wanted to, let everyone know that we're working on it. The second item is just has to do with Sunny T's Restaurant. I believe they're back in operation again. I think they're deficient in terms of escrow funds. I mean, that's more of an administrative item, but
Right.
it's asked to notify the board about that. There is a potentially a new application coming in for the yeshiva located at 666 Kinderkamak Road. They're looking to do essentially 2 solar panel carports at the rear of the property to cover some existing parking spaces. So I believe that'll require some site plan application.
Yes.
Right. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Very good. Oh, boy, it's getting active, huh? All right, not hearing anything else. Any of the other board members have anything they want to add or say? Not hearing any, I'll take a motion for closing the meeting.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, great. Do we need a roll call or can we just do a verbal?
Nope, we can just do verbal vote.
Very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Very good. All right, folks. Good night. Enjoy
Have a
your
good night,
holidays.
everybody.
All right,
Good night,
everybody.
Take care.
everybody.
Good seeing
Hi,
everyone.
everyone.
All right.